Child support. The government's way of taking an already broken and unstable relationship and putting dollar signs on it for one of the two parties involved. Usually most states, and in the majority of circumstances, it ends up being the mom that comes out on top, leaving the other party to fork over whatever amount the judge seems fit, usually based off your yearly income as well as relationship history. Now, many men claim that their ex, as well as the state, are far too strict on these punishments, commonly referred to as baby mama drama. Well, today we're going to sit down and hear arguments from both sides, and you, being the audience, can come to your own opinions on the matter and discuss them below in the comments. I'll just be here as the moderator. Now let's begin today's video. Also, if you relate to anything in this video or you just simply like content like this, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey guys, child support teacher here, class is in session. I'm talking today about how child support is destroying people's lives. Okay, the child support process is absolutely destroying people's lives. I've been a family law attorney for over 10 years and I've seen it firsthand hundreds of times, if not more. What happens is dad will get served with a child support case, he doesn't take it seriously, or maybe the papers get served to a family member's house and he doesn't get to respond to them on time and he gets raked over the coals. The number one reason that I see parents getting completely destroyed in child support court is lack of good information. And I honestly feel like if parents had had this much information more than they did, they would have been in a 90% better chance to not get just their lives destroyed in child support court. If you think about it, if a parent who's just starting their career, they're young, they come in and they start out with this huge child support debt, it destroys their life financially forever. They can't buy a house, they can't buy a car, they have tremendous debt, and if the payment's late, they get nailed with this
Now, I already know what a lot of you might be thinking. Well, you're the one that popped it in. You're the one that didn't, figure out the right pullout time. I understand that, and it's definitely quite the concern that I think a lot of folks should be having. And I think it's kind of a blanket statement to think that every single person that has a child is super young or is like a teen mom. Now, fair enough, that's more and more common throughout the years, but especially all these, I feel like these MTV shows kind of almost promote it at the same time. But anyway, I feel like this guy isn't wrong. Obviously, it sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He's saying that he's worked in this business for quite a while, and I personally don't have a child either, so I don't. I have had many family members who have been on child support, and I've had many friends who have faced the wrath of having kids younger than they expected, to say the least. Let's put that. Let's cause overall sugarcoat that.
Horrifying interest rate, and a lot of parents end up in this deep hole of debt and they just think, man, F it, there's no reason even trying to do more with my life because the state is going to make sure that I'm never able to do anything. And
that's how people feel about the majority of their debt. That's how people feel about student loans. That's how people feel about credit card debt. That's how people feel about pretty much any sort of debt all across the board. Is, well, I'm already too far gone, might as well let it rack up. The mindset's on people, huh?
That's just bad because, I mean, how much better could the economy be? How much better could the world be if every parent who's had their life financially destroyed by the child support process, if it hadn't happened, if they had started businesses, and if they were making a lot of money, if they were spending that money in the economy, if they were hiring employees and creating jobs, and how much better could this world actually be if people's lives weren't being destroyed by child support? That's why I make these videos, is to give people quick, bite-sized nuggets of information on how to represent themselves in the child support process so they don't get ripped off, so they don't get raked over the coals, so they don't get destroyed. I'm tired of seeing people's lives destroyed, so that's why I'm here.
A single mother
so you don't get ripped off. Now, to be honest, I think there are many different cases where the child support is way too high, and maybe the alimony that you have to pay for having the child, even though you're still in the child's life, is not fair because you're probably still taking care of the child. You still are paying for them on the days that you do have custody, and maybe now this might be the case for you, where you might have your baby mama drama be all construed in the fact that they're not spending their child support money on the kid, they're spending it on themselves. They got to get their high value woman necessities.
Allowed to spend her child support money on whatever she wants, and let me tell you why. I've been seeing a lot of controversy on what a woman can. Is
it a law that you have to spend your child support money on the kids? Let me know in the comments. I should probably do a little more research before I cover this video, but I'm a little bit clueless. I'm a little bit clueless on this topic, but we're all learning together.
and cannot spend her child support money on. People are making TikToks about it. People are talking on their podcasts about it, saying that a single mother is not allowed to spend her child support money on her electricity, on her rent, or on her Wi-Fi. Let me just break it down for you on why a single mother is allowed to spend child support money on whatever she would
Let's
like.
hear it.
So let's say a single mother goes to the store on the first of the month and she buys her child all new clothes and all new shoes, and she spends $300 on her child. And now her child has everything they need. But then on the 15th of the month,
Honey, why don't you go to like Once Upon a Child? No offense, but those kids gonna be growing out of those clothes pretty damn quick.
she goes back to the store to buy diapers and wipes for her child and spends $200, right? That's $500. Now let's say on the 21st of the month, the father of her child sends her $350. She is allowed to take money from that child support and pay her electric.
Yeah, that's still taking care of the child. Now, let's hear her out. Let's see where we draw the line here.
Is allowed to pay her Wi-Fi. She is allowed to use that money for her rent because that money is a reimbursement of what she already spent on the child, and it's not even a complete reimbursement. Not to mention, a lot of these
Wait,
men
it's the reimbursement? Wait, so that means she don't ever gotta spend nothing on the kid. It's always covered by the baby daddy? Shit. Well, that's quite the deal you got there. I don't think it's the I think using the word reimbursement is kind of a far stretch. I don't think necessarily that you should be under the rule of having to cover every single expense. I mean, like let's say you wanted to take her to like the water park. Should we be able to vote on that, or you can just spend all the money that I give you on whatever you want, and then you can just keep racking that? Now, fair enough, there is a set amount, so it's up to you what you spend that set amount on, as long as it benefits the child. As far as I'm aware, that's the case I know about. But seems like some of these girls spend a lot more money on other things that are not super needed.
are paying child support
Let's me give you a few examples, like makeup, nails, salons, all this stuff.
only
New
paying
clothes
what the
every month.
judge tells them to pay. So they are not helping cover the cost of childcare the single mom is paying for just so she could put her child in childcare so that she can work to pay for that childcare. And best believe those men are not paying for food for the child weekly, are not buying new clothes for the child, are not buying new shoes for the child. They're only sending a set amount that woman has to deal with. So if a single mother is paying for everything for her child throughout the month, and the father of her child has to pay $10 in child support, $100 in child support, or $1,000 in child support, every amount is different, and she decides to spend that money on her electric, on her rent, that is fine because she has already provided for her child.
All right, I was waiting to let that broad finish, or let that woman finish, because I really just genuinely had so many comments throughout that. I know you guys are gonna hate on me in the comments for pausing way too much of this video, but I have so many different concerns here. Now, first of all, her analysis is just so backwards, where it's like, okay, I don't know if she just now we're gonna have many different opinions in these comments of this video here. I can already tell this is a very touchy topic. Now, some people are gonna say, well, if you are the guy, it's your fault for shoving it in and not being able to pull it out right. That's his fault. Now he has to face the consequences. Now, if you got together with a bum and the bum can't pay $10 for the child support, or the judge only rules him $10 child support, how low his income must be for that. Is that our fault that you just lay down with people who don't have their shit together? Fair enough. I'm not saying that the child deserves any sort of consequence for any of these two parties' poor decisions and actions, but at the same time, it is kind of wild how overall, the child does end up facing all like the repercussions. They absorb all the drama, and they definitely absorb these ongoing settlements that the people seem to want to increase throughout time.
Are the legal consequences of failing to pay child support. So there's different legal consequences that could happen. Obviously, the most harsh could be that you go to jail for not paying child support. Your child support may have to accrue up to a certain amount depending on the county and the judge. You could also be put on probation and have to regularly check in with the court. Or you could also have to go through a jobs course if you're unemployed that the court assigns you to. So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that your child support is getting paid, and it's something that you can also afford in the event that, let's say, your child support was set higher and you've now lost your job, have a job that makes less, or you're unemployed. You want to see if you can get it refigured through the court. You just have to be careful that you're not purposefully underemployed. If you have any questions, give us a call.
So if you lost your job and you're broke now, hopefully you can pay a little bit less. But at the same time, I have seen many people in my life that they've got their driver's license taken away. So how am I supposed to go get a job if I can't even drive there? But it's like people can't pay some of these payments. And Now it's like, well, if you couldn't pay the payments, how were you paying the payments before you had to pay them all like in a mandatory type of way? Like you're probably paying them anyway throughout the child's care system, but a lot of these folks are still paying for their child on the off days or on the days that they are together, on their days that they do have custody. So it's not just like that's the only dollar they have to pay, and it's like another bill on top of more and more and more, and it's just ridiculous. But at the same time, I do see how it's necessary for some people and some folks in some different situations. Now, this guy has quite the story. I think we need to take notes about.
My baby mama just put me on child support, and it's a relief because now she can't use it as a threat anymore. I just had to come down here and reflect on my life. I realized I gotta make some big changes because I can't keep living on these streets. Man, my car done broke down on me. It's crazy. I don't know what to do. Out here on this highway, had to come out here and sit on the side of the bridge, man. Like, I'm not understanding what's wrong with my life, boy. It's crazy. Then I'm trying to get a U-Haul or a storage unit. I've been having problems with my family members and all that, so there's a lot been going on, man. Well, I tell you, just so frustrated, don't know what to do. Life is hard, man. It's a shame. It's a hard shame, boy. I tell you. Whew. Boy.
For all the
Sorry, that
baby.
was a little bit stretched out, but I wanted you guys to really feel the emotion in that video. Overall, it seems like child support might have left that dude homeless, or at least he went to the side of the road or the highway to catch his feelings. Like that's quite the place where you feel the most comfortable. But you know what? Honestly, to each their own. I do want to say that this guy was going through it. He had his shirt ripped. It's obviously probably hot outside. He said his car's breaking down. He has some family problems, which can we all kind of relate to that in our own different like regard. But at the same time, I do want to say that I hope that he gets the stuff figured out. And it's really not. It's not. It's way too common that this type of thing ruins your life. Like you make these decisions not realizing what's gonna happen. You lay down with the chick, you lay down with the dude, if you're a chick, and then you end up having some consequences that, like, yeah, maybe having a kid sounds good right now. Maybe you have baby fever if you're in your mid 20s. There's a lot of consequence throughout the line. Maybe you're not. Maybe it's not worth having a kid right now. Maybe you're not set up. I feel like financially, there might should there be like a limit that you can only have a kid if you have a certain amount of income. Like, I don't think that's necessarily a good law. 'Cause I believe in full reigns of freedom. But honestly, for some people, for how many people that they just can't handle having a kid and do, it seems like more people that shouldn't have kids versus people that can have kids do. So crazy.
Dads who are in my comments regarding the child support post saying the mom gets what I give her and that's it. That's to take care of the kids. That's to provide for the kids. She's not getting another dime more and I'm not doing anything extra. Blah, blah, blah. Tell me you don't care about how your kids feel without telling me. Like, are your children now held responsible for what their mother chooses to do with the money or needs to do with the money? You know? So the power bill needs paid. Mom don't make enough, but guess what? Dad gave mom money, so you should have shoes. It's mom's fault. Blah, blah, blah. Tell me you don't care about how your kids feel without telling me. Because that's exactly...
This is what I'm talking about, folks. The kids always somehow get dragged involved. The kids are always somehow dragged into the situation, and now they're involved. What does this have to do with the kids? It's you and your ex. It's not the kid's fault you guys have a bad relationship.
Exactly what you're saying is you don't care how they feel. You don't care what they have or don't have. All you care is the amount that you have to pay. And then what does she do or not do with that money?
Tell me why I feel like there might be a backstory behind this. There's the woman's always so mad at the guy, and the guy's always so mad at the girl. We're only hearing one side on all these different videos. Did they maybe make an agreement before she got him into child support that they're not going to play that route? Because I do know many people that don't take the child support route. They just raise the kid on their own without the government's involvement and keeping the state away from the money part. Now, if your baby daddy's a shithead, if you are laying down with bums, make him pay a little bit, okay? He that's half his seed. It is his job to take care of that. But at the same time, maybe you don't want that dad in your life, honey. Maybe you need to keep him out anyway. Find you someone that'll take care of someone else's seed. Good luck with that.
Like, I don't know how to turn the light switch on for you guys, but this isn't about mom needs to work harder, mom needs to give the kids to dad. No, most kids want to be with their mothers, first of all. Secondly, all kids need to have both their parents in their
Okay,
life.
now
They
something we
should
can
have
finally
both their
agree on.
parents in their life. They should have visits with both their parents, time spent with both their parents, the same way they should have all their needs met regardless of which parent is meeting those needs. Period. A child should not be held responsible for what another parent chooses or has to do with their money.
Period. Nah, but serious. Let's be honest. A lot of these folks have a bunch of different opinions. They're all super harsh. Nobody's in a good positive mindset. We need some joy back in this conversation. I don't think we're gonna find any here. But I love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions, so I always go to the comments, see what you guys have to say. I do appreciate all the support around here. I do these uploads daily, and I do at least a few times a week. So if you do comment, you might see yours in a future upload. People made it through the Great Depression via community and family and support. Most people have very little support now. It's scary. That's the thing. A lot of people are going to be shacking back up with their folks. They're going to be bunching in a big family unit. I feel like compounds are going to be kind of the next wave where people just be shacking up because I feel like even getting roommates is harder than ever, which is ridiculous because so many people need homes and places to live. I saved up 2K a month while I was homeless on the streets. It was the most in control and free I have felt in my life. Hey man, I think that's really actually crazy because a lot of people have been in the comments saying that I was tripping on the first few videos I made talking about people now moving in and just opting out to living in their vehicle for not just part time but almost completely full time. One, to save up money to eventually be able to get a down payment on a place or some land, but just to be able to have any sort of sense of freedom. And I do understand how that could be the case for a lot of folks. Now, if you are in a certain climate where you can do that all year round and every season, it might be worth it. And if you are more like accommodable to certain different things and accolades you might not have in a life like a modern day lifestyle where you have an apartment and a shower and a washer dryer in your place, or like even like a refrigerator. But I do understand there are many different ways you can make that happen. There's like Starlink with the Wi-Fi. I covered that in one of the other videos. There's a bunch of different like door delivery apps and a bunch of different, there's a bunch of different side income apps you can make money not having to be at a certain tied down 9 to 5 job and also not having to be at a one location. So it is possible these days to each their own, but I do appreciate you guys' love and support around here. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you do like content like this, and I will see you next time.